Hello. Hope you're having a great day. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for checking my video out. I appreciate it. Today, I want to talk about an interesting, growing, concept. Which there's a lot of people arguing that we're shifting into a buyer's market. I don't know if I buy that, but we're definitely shifting towards a more favorable buyer's market. When I was growing up in the business, back in the late 90s and early 2000s, we defined equilibrium as the average days on market being about 180 days. So houses on the market for 6 months really kind of signified that we were at an equilibrium where it was either a buyer's or a seller's market. And so we're getting out of this phase where average days on the market were like 10 days, 20 days, like a crazy number, right? And we're getting to a more normalized time, but I don't know if I would call it a buyer's market yet. As you'll see, we're going to talk about it. Nationally, the months of supply is 3.7 months of supply. And now some people, some commentators, analysts are calling that a buyer's market. Historically, that's still a seller's market, but it's certainly, we get confused because we haven't been in a buyer's market forever. And so this hopeful sign is maybe making us jump the gun a little bit. But I'm going to share an article today from Redfin. The title of the article is "It's a Buyer's Market, then period. For many home buyers, it doesn't feel like it." And it's by Mark Worley. And I don't necessarily agree with Mark. I don't agree we're in a buyer's market. I do think we're getting to a more favorable buyer's condition. But here are some of the points from the article, which are all good. Sales are slowing down, which we know. And who would have thought that sales would be slower this year than last year? But they are. They fell. Sales units fell by 6.3% in January, year over year. That's not so good, right? Listings are sitting longer. The average days on market now is 56 days. Just to be clear, 56 days is not a buyer's market, but nevertheless, price growth is slowing. In some markets, it's reversing, but nationally, the median home price was up 4.1%. I agree with the article I read the other day. I don't necessarily agree using median home prices as the benchmark, but nevertheless, the median home price in the United States is up 4.1%. There's a heck of a lot more negotiation going on. This is an interesting statistic. The typical home in the United States, I think in January, sold for 1.8% less than the final asking price. So there you go. People aren't quite getting the price they're asking for. There's more concessions. And there's a whole lot of deals falling through. And so in January, the cancellation rate was the highest it's been in 6 years. So there are definitely evidences that buyers are starting to get more, more leverage. But then again, it doesn't feel like that great to buyers because prices are still high and mortgage rates are higher than they want and payments are high and affordability is a challenge. And so it's kind of a mixed message as we slowly drift towards equilibrium, but we still have a ways to go. Now, I agree with Mike Simonson at Altos Research. If interest rates rise, inventory rises, right? And it becomes more favorable to buyers. But if interest rates were to drop, inventory will constrain and it will become a much stronger seller's market. And so we have to keep that in mind. Interest rates have an influence here. But I want to go ahead and share this article with you because it was a really interesting article. Here, let me get to the top of the article here. Here's it's a buyer's market. For many home buyers, it doesn't feel like it. There are some cool data points here. This is here's what here it looks like months of supply. You can kind of see we got way down, of course, in the pandemic years, and we're starting to come back up. But notice we're only seeing 7 years. If we change this scale and looked at it over the last 50 years, you would see where, 6 months is equilibrium. The author is arguing that it's 4 to 6 months now that the dynamics have changed. I don't know if I agree with that, but nevertheless, let's go to some of the really interesting things. It's very different by region. And so you can see, look at Florida. Holy smokes. Florida, the months of supply are super high. Florida is a very challenged market right now, right? So Cape Coral, 11.6 months of supply. Miami, 11.4 months of supply. Fort Lauderdale, 10.3 months of supply, right? So these are the ones where it is definitely a buyer's market. If you're in the top 10 here, it's a buyer's market. If you go to this article, and I'll put a link to the article below, you can go, it lists every market. You can see what it is. Now, conversely, so these are the ones where it's 100% a buyer's market, but below it's going to go, okay, here's a seller's market. And, there's places in upstate New York, there's 1 month of supply. Rochester, New York, 1 month of supply. Buffalo, New York, 1 month of supply. And Hartford, 1.4. Grand Rapids, 1.5. Worcester, 1.6. San Jose, 1.7. So all these, if it starts with a 1, that is a strongly seller's market. There's housing shortages all through the Northeast. That's why all these are listed except for in California, the Northeast. And it's really interesting. If you're advising people to buy or sell, what would you advise them to buy or sell? Would you buy or sell in a buyer's market or in a seller's market? Really interesting. You also notice that where you have the better buyer's market is where there's more new construction. It correlates nearly perfectly. But anyway, I thought this was great. This is super interesting. I did a post on LinkedIn today. If you want to get just an in-depth summary of the data and the article, I will put a link to the article below. There was a link on in LinkedIn. I put a link to the article. With that, I hope you're having a great week. We're cruising through these weeks really, really fast. We're nearly at the end of the month, or we are at the end of the month. So with that, hope you have a great day. I look forward to talking again soon.